Okay, let's be real. Feeling a little overwhelmed by all the AI tools popping up every single day? Yeah, you're not alone. It seems like there's an AI for literally everything now, from writing code to making entire videos from scratch. So the big question is, how do you find the right tool for the right job? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. Let's build your AI toolkit.
So here's the game plan. We're going to cut through all the noise. First, we'll see just how much AI is already part of our world. Then, we'll take a tour of the essential tools. We'll also break down that super important difference between open and closed AI models. Then, we'll get into how to actually use these things effectively. And finally, we'll zoom out and ask, what does all this mean for our future?
All right, first things first, let's get one thing straight. The AI revolution isn't some sci-fi movie concept that's decades away. It's not coming, it's here, right now. It's happening at a scale that's honestly a little hard to wrap your head around, and it's powering the platforms you and I use every single day. And if you want a little taste of that scale, just look at one tool, ChatGPT. It's estimated to be handling around 1 billion, that's billion with a B, queries every single day. And remember, that's not the whole AI world, that's just one of the big players. This thing has gone from a niche tech toy to a global utility in record time.
And this is not just about us playing around with prompts. In the business world, this is a massive shift. Take enterprise search, the software that helps employees find that one document buried on the company's servers. That market is set to explode to over $9 billion, all because AI is making it ridiculously fast and accurate.
So with all these thousands of tools out there, how in the world do you make sense of it all? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a real toolkit, right? You wouldn't use a sledgehammer to hang a picture frame. And in the same way, different AI tools are built for very, very different jobs. To make this way easier, we can basically sort everything into 3 big buckets. We've got tools for creativity, tools for finding knowledge, and tools that are all about boosting your productivity. Let's pop open the lid on each one. So in the creativity drawer, let's start with writing. You've got the heavyweights, like ChatGPT and Claude. Now, they're both incredibly powerful, but they have different vibes. A lot of people use ChatGPT when they're brainstorming or just need to get a bunch of information fast. But if you need to write something that sounds a bit more polished, a bit more human, many people find that Claude is their go-to for that professional touch.
But creativity here goes way, way beyond just text. We're talking about tools that can take a single sentence you write and turn it into a mind-blowing image, or tools that can take a script and generate a whole video presentation. There are others that create incredibly realistic voices from text, and then you have things like GitHub Copilot, which is just fundamentally changing how programmers write code.
Okay, next up, knowledge tools. For the last 20 years, when we wanted to know something, we'd go to a search engine, type in a query, and get a list of 10 blue links. And then we had to do all the work of clicking and reading. Well, that whole model is changing. We're moving from search engines to answer engines. Tools like Perplexity do the reading for you. They digest the top sources and give you a direct answer. And this part is crucial. They show you their sources so you can check their homework.
And finally, productivity. These are the tools that are basically designed to give you your time back. Think about it. An assistant like Fathom can literally join your Zoom calls, and when you're done, it hands you a perfect transcript and summary. Imagine never taking meeting notes again. Then you've got automation tools like Zapier, which act like the glue between AI and like 8,000 other apps, handling all the boring, repetitive stuff that clogs up your day.
All right, so you've got your toolkit. But as you start exploring, you're going to keep hearing these 2 terms. Open source and closed source. And I know it sounds super technical and maybe a little boring, but trust me, understanding this distinction is a huge deal.
So what on earth does open source even mean? The easiest way to think of it is like a master chef's recipe. Instead of just selling you the finished dish, an open source model gives you the entire recipe, the ingredients, the instructions, everything. That means anyone, from a kid in their bedroom to a giant corporation, can take that recipe, use it, study it, and even change it to make their own custom dish.
And this isn't some tiny niche part of the AI world anymore. It is rapidly becoming the main event. Just look at this trend. In 2021, about a third of the big new AI models were open source. By 2023, that number jumped to 2/3. That's a massive, massive acceleration. It's fundamentally changing how AI gets built. And businesses are jumping on board like you wouldn't believe. A wild 89% of organizations that use AI are already using open source in some way. And why not?
It gives them more control, way more flexibility, and it often means they aren't locked into a single company's expensive proprietary system.
Okay, you've picked your tools, you understand the landscape. Now for the most important part, how do you actually get good results? Because here's the absolute truth about AI. The quality of what you get out is 100% dependent on the quality of what you put in. Garbage in, garbage out.
This right here, this is the secret sauce. It's called prompt engineering, but don't let the fancy name intimidate you. It's really just about giving great directions. Don't just ask a simple question. Start by defining your goal. Give it super clear instructions. Set some constraints or rules. And then, this is the most important part, give it a ton of background and context. And the real pro move, assign the AI a role. Tell it, you are an expert marketing copywriter, or you are a senior Java developer. It changes everything.
But listen, even if you write the world's greatest prompt, your job is not done when it spits out an answer. You have to be the human in the loop. You are the editor-in-chief, so run the output through a quick mental checklist. Is this accurate? Did it just make up sources? AI can totally do that. It's called hallucinating. Is it biased? Is the logic sound? Is it using weirdly emotional language? Your critical thinking skills have never been more important.
And this brings up a point that is so crucial to remember. These systems are designed to mimic human conversation. They can seem friendly, empathetic, even funny. But it is not your friend. It doesn't have feelings. It's a tool. An incredibly sophisticated tool, yes, but a tool nonetheless. It's there to augment your capabilities, not to replace your own human judgment.
So, this all leads to the big billion-dollar question that everyone is asking, and maybe even a little worried about. What does this all mean for our jobs, for our future? Well, if you look at the actual data, the story is a lot more nuanced than the scary headlines you might be seeing.
That big fear of mass layoffs? So far, the numbers just don't really support it. When hiring managers were surveyed, over half said they expect AI to either have no impact on their headcount or to actually increase it. Only a tiny fraction, just 5%, reported reducing their staff because of AI. The story here seems to be much more about transforming jobs than eliminating them.
So if AI is starting to handle more of the repetitive, predictable tasks, what does that leave for us? Well, it turns out it's the stuff that makes us human. According to the World Economic Forum, the most in-demand skills are things like analytical and creative thinking. Right behind that is stuff like resilience and agility. These are the skills that AI can definitely complement, but it can't replicate.
And that really is the core principle we should be aiming for in this new era. The ultimate goal isn't just to build smarter and smarter machines. The goal should be to use those machines to augment and enhance our own human capabilities. It's about creating a powerful partnership.
Which leads us to the fundamental question we all have to face. The debate is no longer if we're going to be working with AI, that ship has sailed. The real question is how. How do we, as individuals and as a society, prepare for a world where working alongside these incredibly powerful tools is just the new normal?
And I want to leave you with this one last, pretty profound thought from Vint Cerf. He's one of the people who literally helped build the internet. He predicts that as these AI systems get more and more sophisticated, we might actually find it hard to tell the difference between an artificial personality and a real one. And that, he says, might lead us all on a search for reliable proof of humanity, some to chew on.